I can't do it quickly. If I do it quickly, it won't be 3 minutes. Hang on, wait. I need to think of a good intro.
What's up, guys?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to part 2 of English's literature. Today we're going to be looking at The Great Gatsby by F. Fitzgerald. It's very cool. The Great Gatsby is a love story centered around Daisy and Gatsby. However, as I'm sure we're all aware, it's realistic. I can't, man. I have to keep looking at. However, as I'm sure we're all aware, it's realistically much more than that. The story is anything but simple, with roughly a 3-hour duration. Fitzgerald somehow manages to cram the novel with some of the most convincing, realistic and existential quandaries ever seen in literature. I'm leaving all that in. The novel itself is probably among the most beautifully written books in the English language, and all of these positives come together to create what is undoubtedly one of the best reading experiences that anyone could ever... I went off script. But to really answer what it's about is quite difficult, because as we mentioned before, it's not just one thing. Whilst it may be a love story at its core, it's also a critique on capitalism, as well as a commentary on the American dream, and a warning sign for the dangers of nostalgia. What really elevates this book is that it will mean something uniquely different to every reader, because as Fitzgerald states, there is no such thing as the same love twice, and nowhere is this demonstrated more perfectly than my favourite excerpt from the novel. So this was a tough choice, but I managed to narrow it down to 2 options. One from the middle of the novel, where Daisy and Gatsby finally meet up for the first time in years, and I like that part because Gatsby acts like an awkward teenager the whole time, which is just so much fun to read. It's the part that I look forward to reading the most whenever I reread the book. However, the one I ended up going with was the end of the novel, particularly the last paragraph. And as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he picked... What do you want, Lucas? Lucas, do you want to be in the video?
And as I sat there... Yeah.
You don't know brooding? No, the word brooding.
I know what brooding... And as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light
at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretching out our arms farther. And one fine morning... So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. What do you want, Lucas?
Why do you...
It's very easy for misrepresent Fitzgerald as well as Nick as having nihilistic qualities, particularly in their representation of the American dream, which could be seen as being talked down on, or disregarded. The whole novel could be argued as having an underlying theme of apocalypticism to it. However, this final paragraph, in my opinion, sums up the entire moral boundaries of the book, summarising the novel masterfully. It perfectly encapsulates both the absurdity of the read, as well as the optimism that is carried within it. Despite the novel being a tragedy, much like the rest of it, it's so much more than that. To boil it down to a single description of tragedy would be a disservice for everything that it stands for. It's wholly emotional paragraphs such as this one that separate it from the traditional tragedy, and add layers of both ambiguity as well as positivity to it. Fitzgerald is not the nihilist that many readers come out seeing him as. He is simply acknowledging that the American dream is just that, a dream. Not discouraging people from following it, but only advising people to move forwards, rather than stagnating or looking back, which ended up being Gatsby's fatal flaw. To be grateful for what you have and not to judge others, as shown by the starting moral of the novel. Another one of my favourite excerpts. It's like the movie version of a book. It's never as good, but there's like potential for it to be okay.
No, It's like the Bollywood version of reading a book.
Although I think I speak for the whole class when I say that the English department did a pretty good job considering the circumstances, and that's 5 minutes.